He walks towards the mic and sits down. Welcome to the Corner Guys channel. Today we're doing another Shaggy Dog story. If you don't know what that is, it's basically a long story that may or may not end with a pun, eye-roll inducing. It doesn't always, but often it does. If you want to see the other ones I've done, go and check out the links in the description or in the card up here. Take your pick. Today we're doing one that is kind of spy-like. Let's get into it. Once upon a time, there was this guy, and he was eating Cheez-Its and watching Wizards of Waverly Place. You know, the episode where Alex keeps turning back time at the movie theater so that Justin can get his first kiss with a girl without being too awkward, you know, so they, like, tip their heads a certain way so their noses don't boop. But this has repercussions because at the Waverly sub shop, where their parents are trying to get Max's sandwich to be the new official New York Mets sandwich, and the judges are eating it, and they're like, oh, this is great, it's definitely the one. But then, because time keeps getting repeated because of Alex's spell, they keep eating the same sandwich and they start to think, I've had this before. This isn't an original recipe. You stole this. Let's get out of here, you cheaters. You know, that episode. So yeah, he's watching that and he's getting to the bottom of his Cheez-Its, so he, does the thing that we all do to get the crumbs out of the Cheez-Its box, bag, whatever. And he does that and a device falls in his lap. It's about the size and weight of a hockey puck, fits in a hand, and it starts immediately activating. Now, what does activating mean in this circumstance? Well, be patient and I'll tell ya. It starts beeping, and a voice says, the fate of the world is now in your hands. Follow this arrow for your destination and your mission. He doesn't really have anything else to do today, so, he decides why not. So he follows the arrow outside. It takes him through town. He passes the local froyo shoppy, and he ends up going to this beautiful park, and he sits down on a bench. There's no one else there until 3 other people wander into the park with the same device in their hands, directing them. As they converge and get closer together, all the devices start blaring together. My hair did a floof thing, doesn't it? That's fun. Now the devices all start blaring, and they all immediately have this vision. Like Professor X style, like vision. They all see the same thing, an evil scientist developing a special drug that, when taken, will give him supernatural powers that will allow him to take over the entire tri-state area, and then the world. They also see a secret way to infiltrate the lab, steal the drug, and escape with it, thus foiling Dr. Muffenschmertz's plans. They all know, there's 4 of them. They all know now that the fate of the world is in their hands. But obviously, before they can go on this mission and steal the drug, they need to come up with code names for each other. Code names. My voice cracked. One of them says, well, when I was a kid and used to play like spy games and stuff, I would go by like Fire Baby, so how's that sound? And they all kind of nod in agreement. They're like,
passes the vibe check.
So another one says, well, if he's Fire Baby, I could be the opposite and be like Ice Baby, and another one says, I'm Earth Baby, and the 4th one says, I'm Windy Baby. Now that they all have their code names, they can get on with their mission. They follow their devices, the arrow takes them to the lab, they get outside the air duct system, and they start crawling through the vents. Luckily, none of them are claustrophobic, because it's very tight, and they're going very slowly, slower than Nevada counting votes. So they're crawling through the vent. Jesus. So they're crawling through the vents, and they get to the lab. They slowly lower themselves down into the lab, being very stealth-like, like a jackal.
4 jackals.
And I have to burp. That was the lamest burp. I'm upset. I had a second. What the heck, man? Well, that's enough time in this video spent on my burps. Let's get back to the story. They start looking around the lab for the drug, and Windy Baby sees it, and he says, guys, I got it. He takes the drug, he puts it in his fanny pack, and they start to go back to the vent. But there must have been some security system in place, which would make sense. And alarms start blaring, and poison gas starts coming through the air vents that they came through, so they can't go out that way. They need to go out the door and through the hallway, so they make a run for it. And everything's going great, going swimmingly. They're, in their heads, they're hearing, wouldn't it be nice if we, as they're running. But they hear a gunshot and a scream. Ice Baby was shot in the leg. Very sad. No good. Uh-oh. So they immediately get cover, and they're trying to think, what do we do? What do we do? We're running out of time. Guards are closing in. They now know where they are, and they would just, take the drug and get super wizard powers to destroy all the guards and make a clean escape. But the device warned them that this drug was still in an experimental phase, where if they took it, it would practically be poison after a few minutes of using their powers. It would literally kill them after a few minutes, so they can't take it, That is, unless they wanted to sacrifice a team member. They know that they need to make a run for it, but they need a distraction. They need someone to stay behind to distract the guards as they make a break for it. Ice Baby points out that with his injured leg, he would just slow them down, and he's better off staying here and being that distraction. The team takes a moment to think about what must happen, and Fire Baby is the one to put it into words. He says, "Team, I know this is a very difficult decision, but we have no choice. We have to sacrifice Ice Baby." They have to sacrifice Ice Baby, like Ice Baby. Oh man. So yeah, Ice Baby takes the drug, gets wizard powers, distracts the guards with them, and then he dies. But the other 3 team members escape, so that's the end of the story. The point of it was the joke, so I didn't really think out the ending past that. It just kind of, works itself out after the Ice Baby part. Well, that's the story. Hope you enjoyed the joke. If you want to steal it and tell it to your friends, go right ahead. I just ask that you send them over here to this channel, and while we're talking about my frickin' channel, it's classic YouTuber time. Hit the bell notification button, hit the subscribe button, not necessarily in those orders. Like the video, that really helps. Watch those 2 videos above me, and easy subscribe button right here. You just click that, thing pops out, then you hit subscribe, and then you don't have to flip your phone vertical and hit the subscribe button. So I would really appreciate that. If you're still here, I'm surprised, but thank you. That's it. Bye. Woohoo!